on this shelf is where I keep my copy of Heroquest. Heroquest is a pretty special game, and I keep it up here because it means a lot to me. And this copy is pretty old. Let's put this down here and take a look together. So this is the Heroquest set that my parents used to play with before I was born. And as you can see, it's an old Dutch copy. I think this is probably one of my most treasured possessions, tabletop-wise. This is the fantasy artwork that I used to look at as a kid that inspired me to get into art and probably influenced a lot of my tastes nowadays. And to tell you the truth, I've never played a single game of Heroquest. I haven't even really taken inventory of this game yet. So the last time I opened this box was to go digging for an old Wizard mini that I knew was in there somewhere. And I ended up converting that into this turnip wizard that I will be painting today. But I thought, what better moment to take a look at this old Heroquest box set before we paint the wizard that came from it. So here we go. This is the old box set, and you can tell it's got some scuffed up corners. It's pretty scratched up, but I think that makes it even more beautiful. I'm gonna open this up now. Please don't get mad at me because this will be a mess. All right, here we go. So the first thing that you see, which I find really charming, is you get the instructions for assembly inside of the lid here. I think the color they used for the printing here, this sort of dark teal, is really, really beautiful. Looking inside the box, we can see stuff is a little bit chaotic. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm just gonna try like sorting through this a little bit and then show you some of my highlights. This won't be like a comprehensive look at the whole game, and this also won't be a game restoration. We might do that at some point. Today will be all about painting this guy. I just wanted you to have some context of where he came from. First thing I noticed was we've got old character sheets in here. These would have been characters my parents and their friends, maybe my uncle, played when they played this game in a time before I was born, for sure. This character, their name was Duivelsklopper Django, which means like Devil Thumper Django. And stuff like this, I think, I mean, I almost want to frame this. You don't think about these things when you're playing, but next time you play D&D, think about like your kids holding your old character sheets one day and what that might mean to them. Isn't that strange? This is probably my aunt, Annette, who played this character. She's got beautiful handwriting. This just says dead. There's still so many character sheets left here. So this is still absolutely totally usable. Isn't this a great design for a character sheet too? There's these sheets, which are, I think, complementary to the character sheets, probably. This character sheet belonged to my grandmother, who passed away. I didn't even know she played this game. I can't quite tell you how I feel about this, but I'm certainly feeling things about this. There's these old dungeon layouts that you could make your own dungeons, I think, and then do your own notes. Now this, I think, is one of the coolest things in this box, is the old Heroquest DM screen. And this has really shaped my understanding of like how I want to feel when I'm DMing my games. Look at this artwork. They don't make it like this anymore. Look at these goblins. Ah, I love the gargoyle on here. There's a femur, skeletons turning up. This would have let you design your own adventures. And so you can see my family designed their own dungeon layout here. And there's these sticker sheets where you can take these and put these stickers inside of the dungeon layout to like denote locations of enemies and traps and falling boulders and stuff like that. You would never see something as cool as this nowadays. Oh, this is amazing. I want companies to make this again. Look, this is from 1990. These look so beautiful. I might find a use for all of these in something else. I think this is like an expansion for the game. Yeah, so this has got like dungeon layouts and new missions for you to play. Oh man. Okay, so look at this. This is like a blank dungeon map, right? And this corresponds to the Heroquest board. And then you also have this, These are adhesive sheets of stickers. Oh, these have a very bad smell. Oh, they smell horrible. I think the adhesive must have gone bad or something. Oh, that's really bad. I think the idea was you could cut these out and then attach them to these layouts. Oh, I'm gonna put these away because they smell really bad. But they're really cool though. So this is the player's handbook. And this is the Dungeon Master's Guide. These are missions and adventures. And these are 2 expansions. I mean, come on! Look at this artwork. Tell me you don't love this. That guy's getting ready to gobble on some man meat. Even the little details like this face here. The barbarian ready to tear his shackles from the ground as the Lich King looks upon his prey. On the most dripped out throne you've ever seen in your whole life. Look at these faces there. Look at that staff. And then inside is just more of these missions. And a really cool mummy. And here we actually have our wizard. So this is this guy, minus the turnip staff, of course. I actually really like this paint scheme that they've got going on here. I'm pretty sure this will fit very nicely into our army, actually. See, already worth it opening the box. Of course, the famous actual board, the beloved Heroquest dungeon in all its glory. Mine's in pretty okay condition. Luckily, it's like a sort of a canvas board, so it's quite sturdy. And then inside, the part that most of you are probably excited for, these are all of the miniatures and standees and cards that came with the game. I don't feel like taking inventory right now because you can see it's a lot and I've got other stuff to do. But just really quickly, we'll take a look at some of these. Got a great orcs or goblins. We got some mummies in here, some skeletons with scythes, OG Fimir or Fomorians, a bunch of like human guardsmen, some ghouls with giant two-handed meat cleavers, and obviously amazing Chaos Warriors. I need to paint this one for a future project, for sure. There's multiples of these. And here is the Gargoyle, the OG baddie. Still in pretty good shape from what I can see. His wings have snapped off, but I've got them both here. So it should be pretty easy to glue those back together and stick them back on this guy. And then he will also make for a nice project down the line somewhere. We've also got some heroes in various states of disrepair. This wizard's missing the top of their staff, the barbarian's missing the sword. This elf's sword is kind of in a precarious situation, but they look all right apart from that. Isn't this just so charming? Last but certainly not least, a very small dwarf with a mean attitude. Love this guy as well. He's looking fine. So these are all pretty special and they'll make for great painting. They'll make for a great little warband, maybe for like a one-shot or something. These would make for a great little painting project on their own as well. And then these are some antagonists. So these are, I think, the Wizards of Morcar, I think they're called. Now, I could go on and on and on about how beautiful this game is. Look at these cards, these illustrations. But for now, let's get to painting this guy. So here he is, our converted Heroquest wizard with a turnip staff. Now his robes are going to be purple and blue, and I was trying to decide which way to paint these. And in the end, I decided to go with outer robes purple, since the purple is the army color. So the inner robes are going to be a dark blue, teal right now, and then the boots get a coat of black. And the outer robes are going to be our signature purple, which is the color that really kind of ties the whole army together, along with the yellow, which will come at a later point. So this outer robe is what makes this model so fantastic, because it gives it a sort of triangular shape, which I really, really enjoy. And you can see here I decided to go over that initial teal for the inner robes with more of a blue color to kind of match a little bit better. And these are some classic wizard colors. Right now I'm just trying to establish the base codes. So the staff gets a bone color, the skin gets a Caucasian flesh tone, and then we apply the yellow, which takes a while because yellow has notoriously bad coverage. And I decided to put these little stripes as well.
For the turnip, I think it makes sense for it to be alive still. So green leaves on the top. And now that our base coats have been defined, we can glaze in some reddish tones on the turnip and put some washes over everything. So a skin wash on the skin and a very diluted blue wash on the gray beard. And there you go. That's all of the base coat sort of established. I blacked out all of the parts that I want to be metal in the end. And so it's onto the blue for the first step of highlighting. I really enjoy doing this sort of heavy metal layering process where you just mix up lighter and lighter shades of your original base coat and then you cover less and less area with those until you get like very smooth transitions and very sharp edge highlights in the end. It's just something that I enjoy doing. It's by no means the only way to paint a model, and it's certainly not the only way that looks good. But it's what I enjoy doing, and it is a hobby after all. It should be fun to do. So there's the blue all finished, and for the purple coat I'm doing the same thing. Only here I ended up needing to do a little bit of glazing and some soft transitions to get that coat to really look right. And it's just a lot of back and forth. But here you can see me put on those last steps of edge highlights. Really get like a very, very light highlight for those very edges and the tips of where two edge highlights will meet. And that really gives it that high contrast look that will pop on the tabletop. And since these are meant for a tournament in 2 days, that will be important. I decided to add these little scratches and nicks into his wizard's hat, which I thought added some character and broke up that large shape. And then for the skin, I'm highlighting it much the same way, just choosing some subtler transitions because skin is not that reflective, so it should be all a little bit more homogeneous. But still, those very, very final edge highlights, you want those to be very sharp and very light for it to kind of really sell the effect. The eyes, I black those out and then just draw two tiny white little dots in the corner of each eye, and so you're left with the pupil in the middle sort of insinuated. These eyes were tiny, so it didn't really matter that much. The yellow gets an initial highlight with a lighter yellow and then a second and last highlight with an off-white sort of ivory bone color. For the beard, it's much the same process, just picking out individual hairs with a light gray, and then in the end I went back in with pure white and sort of dotted the edges of each individual strand of hair. The turnip gets highlighted with some sort of fleshy colors, some pinks and some ivory tones. And then in the end, to unify all of those, I went back in with another glazing layer, which is just thinned down contrast paint applied in very, very thin layers. Highlighting these plant bits of the turnip with the same colors I used on the base. Just 2 steps of highlights. Very simple. Now all that's left is the final details. I painted the shoes, and now all of the metal bits. There's gold and iron, and our wizard is done.
All right, that took quite a bit of time, but we got her done in the end. I managed to paint my favorite Heroquest wizard with a turnip twist, and I couldn't be happier about this little guy. I think the turnip turned out great. I like that he feels so hand sculpted, and even though the color scheme is not something I would have traditionally chosen, being quite colorful and almost clashing with the blue and the purple and the yellow, I think it really adds to that old school charm. He's almost like the secret leader of the army, so I wanted to take some time to get him right, both because of his role in my turnip regiment, as well as the history behind the sculpt and the miniature itself. So I hope you like my little conversion and paint job of this old school Heroquest Wizard of Morcar. By the way, let me know if you know what this model's specific name is supposed to be, because I can only find him under like a Wizard of Morcar. And I would love to look up some other reference pictures of other people who've painted him. It was quite difficult to see other paint jobs of this specific mini. So if you know anything about that, let me know. It is currently Tuesday and it's about 1:15 midnight, and the tournament is on Saturday. So I've got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to get all of these finished. There's 23 more models to paint, so I better get going. Luckily, I don't have to film me painting these because I already filmed the first 12. So if you want to see how I paint this army, just check out that video. It'll be linked up here. Everything that needs to be done fits in 2 hands, I guess. So shouldn't be too difficult. At least these guys are smaller. So wish me luck. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel or becoming a member. Becoming a member not only supports the channel, it also grants you access to our Discord server, The Lodge, where we share our hobby projects with each other and exclusive videos on the channel. I really hope to see you in the next one. It's been a blast. For now, I've got to get to sleep and then I've got to paint a whole lot of models. Stay safe out there, stay kind, and stay passionate.